G'day guys, Ando here coming at you for World Mental Health Day, 10th of October 2020. As you guys know, mental health is a big part of our mission here at Wartooth. It's a big part of our lyrical themes, it's a big part of our message as a band and sort of what we stand for. And obviously our raw truth discussions and social media content and everything else sort of reflect that. So I thought, you know, what better way to... let me start that again. What better day to open the floor for discussion on mental health than World Mental Health Day. Obviously it's a very important day, especially this year with COVID and all of the you know, the isolation, the social distancing. It's been a different year this year for a lot of people, and mentally a lot of people have been suffering a lot more than usual. I thought I would open the floor for discussion today, guys, to just talk about mental health. The importance of dealing with it and maintaining it and looking after yourself, the importance of reaching out to friends, having discussions like this. Obviously it's a very important issue, as I said, to Wartooth and to myself, having suffered with some mental health issues over the last few years and still, honestly, still dealing with it and still trying to get through some things and get healthier. You know, like, I guess like fitness, like physical fitness, it's a similar thing. You know, to be healthy physically, you know, you've got to eat right, you've got to exercise, all these things continually. It's not something that you do once or, you know, for a month and then you're good and you're healthy. It's like mental health is the same. You've got to exercise, you've got to put the right nutrients in to your brain, and all of those sorts of things. So it's an ongoing process, it's an ongoing journey, and it's something that you just sort of have to maintain for the rest of your life, unless you want it to really go down the shitter. Now, before I came onto this, and you're probably noticing already, before I came onto this little live stream here, I was feeling very anxious about, you know, what to talk about and what to sort of open the discussion with, as is the case with anxiety. You know, I'm sort of sitting there doubting myself, like, oh, do I talk about this? Or nobody wants to hear about that, and I don't have any qualifications to talk about mental health, and, you know, all of these like little sabotaging thoughts and all that sort of shit. But at the end of the day, I've been wrestling with that for the last half an hour or so, and just told all of those little voices to fuck off and just come on here and express myself and open the floor for discussion for you guys as well. So one of the things, I guess I'll start with, like, this last week for me has been it's been an interesting development. I've noticed, obviously with the death of Van Halen the other day, that really sort of shook me a lot more than I thought it did. Like, I've never really been affected by deaths of celebrities or idols or musicians or anything like that before, but for some reason Van Halen really hit me on a personal level. Maybe because he's like sort of my favorite like idol, for want of a better word, you know, the guitarist that I look up to the most. But I think more so than that, I think the thing that I really respect and loved about Eddie Van Halen was the fact that through his music and through his, you know, his presence, his face, every time you see him, he's just always so happy in music. Like, music is his thing. It's not his thing, it is him. He is music embodied. And so when he's making music, when he's being around music, he's his happiest. And that's like me. I'm the same. Like, I'm happiest when I'm making music. I'm happiest when I'm playing music, listening to music. Music is such an important part of myself. And I saw that in Eddie, I guess. And that's one of the, you know, obviously he's very skilled and he's, you know, a pioneer and all of these other massive accolades. But, you know, like, he is music. He embodies it. It embodies him. It's like this, like, symbiotic relationship between the two, and that's something that I really connected with him. So obviously that hit me a little hard the other day. I'm sort of coming to terms with it now, but yeah, so I mean, that's been a bit of a downer. But I mean, do you guys, I mean, obviously everyone's heard about the fact that Van Halen's passed away. Like, how did it affect you guys? I'd love to hear in the comments down there or wherever they are floating around, you know, how that sort of impacted you guys. But while you're sending those in, the other thing that I've had over the last couple of weeks, I've had a bit of a, what I would like to call a breakthrough. I hope it's a breakthrough, time will tell. But I guess the last couple of weeks I've been reading a new book, and it's opened my eyes to a thing called assertiveness, which has really, as a concept, has really opened my mind to some of the things that I struggle with on a regular daily basis, and that is being assertive. Now, one thing that I want to sort of explain is, like, assertiveness is very different to aggression, in the sense that assertiveness is about setting healthy boundaries for yourself it's about expressing yourself, expressing your feelings, expressing your opinions, and not in a like attacking people way, but just putting whatever's in here out, like not onto other people, but just out into the world, and saying like, this is who I am, this is what I'm standing for, this is what I'm not standing for, these are my boundaries. And that's something that I've always really struggled with for some reason. You know, maybe there's some sort of upbringing or childhood things that have happened there. I honestly don't know. And to be quite frank, I'm not really that interested in sort of delving into all of that. But moving forward from here, at least, is like becoming more assertive. I think expressing myself more, being myself externally more. I've been practicing that over the last couple of weeks, and I've noticed like I'm happier. My connection with co-workers, friends, whatever, has been better. Like people I've known for fucking, like Tim, who I've known for 10 years, you know, we've been mates, we've been bandmates, like I've known him for 10 years, and over the last 2 weeks I feel like we've connected more just because I've opened up myself a bit more, not just to him, but just in general. You know, I'm expressing my opinions, I'm being myself more, and it's really empowering, and it's really made me a lot happier. So I'm not finished the book that I'm reading yet, but it's sort of teaching you how to, little tips and tricks and little things that you can do, habits, to practice being more assertive, having a more assertive mindset. And sort of, as I was saying before, so the difference between assertiveness and aggression. Aggression is when you attack people, or I guess the difference is assertiveness is about you being you. Aggression is when you take that to the next level and try to make other people like you, or try to make other people believe what you say, or make your feelings important to them, that sort of thing. So that's kind of the difference. Assertiveness is saying, here's my fence, don't come in here. Aggression is like, I'm getting over the fence and attacking you. So there's definitely a balance there, but both of those things, I've never been assertive or aggressive really, despite what you guys might think on stage or what have you. But I guess that comes back to what I was saying about Van Halen too, like music being such an important part of me. When I'm playing music, when I'm on stage, I am almost a different person, because I guess that's the part of me that really shines, and I am more confident. I'm maybe more assertive is the right word there. Maybe even aggressive. Certainly our music is aggressive, it's thrash metal. So yeah, like I guess that's the thing, is like music really brings me to life. And I know I put up a video like a few months ago on here, sort of talking about that. And, sort of, you know, it does bring the best parts of me out. And I guess, what am I trying to say here? I'm trying to use music, or that me that is on the stage, that me that is making the music, I'm trying to tap into him more off stage in my daily life, and part of that is this assertiveness practice. So I don't know if you guys have, you know, struggled with things like assertiveness, or expressing yourself, or expressing your feelings, things like that. So again, let me know in the comments if you guys have sort of struggled with that, and any tips that you might have to being more confident, being more assertive in your life, like something that might help me or somebody else that's watching. Yeah. But certainly being more assertive, being more like owning your feelings, owning your opinions, and being confident enough to be like, this is who I am, like take it or leave it. That really has helped my mental health, in that I think one of the main reasons that I was very depressed and had a lot of anxiety, is because I'm not setting those boundaries. I'm not expressing myself. I'm not saying this is who I am. You know, I'm trying to mold myself to suit other people, or the situation that I'm in, or what have you. And you know, while that might be great to be like a social chameleon, it's kind of damaging to your mental health and to your own self-identity to not express who you are, and not set boundaries, and not say like, no, I don't want to do that, I want to do this thing, or I feel this way about this. You know, and even in a positive sense, like I struggle to express positive emotions, like if something is really joyous, or if I really love someone, like I really struggle to express those things too, because I guess for fear of criticism, rejection, whatever it might be. Certainly that's something that I struggle with too. So it's not just expressing negative things, or setting boundaries and saying like, you know, back off, leave me alone. It's everything. Just expressing who you are and what you're about is something that I've really struggled with, except in the frame of music. So certainly today is one of those days where I think it's really important to discuss things like this. Have you guys? I mean, I'm sure a lot of metal. Let me start that sentence again. The metal scene is rife with mental health. I want to say issues. I don't want to call them issues, but we're not a mentally healthy bunch of people, generally speaking, and obviously not everyone. And I'm not attacking anyone here, but we're a community that has come together because we're not, the jocks or the supermodels or the confident social people. We come together because we're the outcasts. We come together because we don't belong everywhere else, and we sort of accept each other for who that is, for who we are, and all of those things, and that's what makes metal so awesome, is that we just accept people for who they are, what they're about. It doesn't matter. But as I said, so mental health is quite an issue within the metal community, and that's one of the big reasons that Wartooth really tries to discuss these things and sort of put a flag in the ground and say, like, hey, like, mental health is something that we actually need to like work on as a community. It's something that we need to discuss. It's something that needs to be put out there and saying, like, hey, like, this is important. If you guys are feeling like you want to share something in the comments, definitely do, to add to this conversation. It's not just me talking at you. If you guys have struggled with mental health, if you like whatever that means, depression, anxiety, self-esteem, like there's so many facets to mental health. And then there's obviously, like, when you go further down the track, there's like chronic issues like schizophrenia or bipolar and all of those other things as well. So I mean, there's such a broad range of things that you can be mentally unhealthy. Maybe it's just that you like are overzealous, or you're addicted to trying to be an overachiever, or there's so many things. So I'm sure you guys have all had something to do with mental health in your past, and if you feel like sharing like some tips on how to get through it, how to help other people, like, this is the place to do it. So anybody that's watching and feels like sharing, definitely chuck something in the comments. Continuing from what I was talking about before, so in my last couple of weeks reading this book, trying to become a more confident, assertive person, it's been tough. I'm definitely nowhere near there. Like, I'm only 20% through the book at the moment, and I've only been practicing for a couple of weeks. But as I was saying, like, it's improved my relationships, it's improved my confidence just in life in general, and it's making me a bit happier. And to be quite frank, if I hadn't read the book, I wouldn't be on here right now doing this conversation, because I would have just been too anxious and just given up and gone like, oh, I don't want to talk about this, like, go away. So but it's World Mental Health Day, and it's important to be discussing mental health, and I guess the best way that I can do that is not to sit here and tell you guys what you should be doing if you're depressed or anxious, or I'm not going to sit here and be like, you guys need to do this and you need to do that and you need to do that. It's like, all I'm going to do is talk about my situation and things that are helping me, and hope maybe some of them will help you, or maybe they won't. I think one of the important things to remember about mental health is that obviously there's a battle going on in here, but you have the answers. You have your answers, I should say. What works for somebody else might not work for you, because you might be in a different situation. You can ask friends for advice. You can talk to people. You can talk to professionals. I mean, professionals are obviously a really good place to start if you are suffering from things like depression, anxiety, etc., etc. Certainly do go talk to a professional if you can manage that, or if you're really, really struggling. But at the end of the day, you're in a situation that you're in mentally, your unhealthy mental state. You've sort of managed to get there over a long period of time. It wasn't just like one day you woke up and you're depressed or what have you. So the fact that it took you a long time to get there, but you did it, it's like internally you got there, it means you also have the answers inside yourself, if you want to listen for them, if you want to look for them. And obviously that's a very time consuming, it's a very intimidating journey. It's a fucking scary thing, man, to like venture inside yourself and figure out what's wrong and try to battle those demons and face that darkness, man. It's a fucking like, I can't imagine anything more scary, honestly. Like, I would be less fearful, say, as a like soldier in war, and this is obviously coming from my own interpretation of what that means. I haven't been there, but facing your own inner like mental battle is like one of the toughest things you can fucking do. It's certainly the toughest thing I've ever done in my life. But the results of that are life-changing, life-altering if you can do it. But I guess what I was saying before is like you have the answers inside yourself. You know what you need to do to make yourself healthier. You know what got you there. You know what's keeping you there, and maybe you're not fully aware of it, but the wisdom is inside you somewhere, and you just need to go look for it. It's fucking tough. I'm not saying it's an easy thing to do. I'm not saying you can just solve it tomorrow. It's like it might have taken you 5-10 years to get to this shit situation. It's going to take you 5 or 10 to get back the other way, but you can do it. And I honestly believe that everyone that's gotten themselves into a situation can get themselves out. But it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of fucking effort, and it takes a lot of courage to tackle the issues and not just, drink them away or party them away or what have you, I guess what I'm getting at is, you have your answers, and it's really important to remember, especially today on World Mental Health Day, when a lot of people might be sharing a lot of motivational quotes, or they might be putting up fucking, if you're feeling like this, you need to do this thing. It's like, that's great that people are offering advice, and I'm not saying, throw it all in the bin, but just take everything with a grain of salt and you have to figure out your own answers. That's part of the journey. Like, you've got to embrace the fact that you're your own solution. And it's really tough, but it's also kind of exciting. It's also kind of empowering to know that, like, I can solve my shit. Certainly, and this is not a comment on fucking, this is not a sexist thing or anything like that, but I can only speak from my perspective as a man. But as a man, I feel it's very important that we are empowered to deal with our own problems rather than, certainly a lot of, like, female, not female, like feminine people that I know, and not just women, but like feminine dudes and things like that. A lot of feminine people like to discuss their feelings and discuss their issues and get help solving them with other people. Whereas a lot of dudes I know are not like that at all, and they're very much like, no, I want to solve my own shit. I want to deal with my own shit and be that tough, strong, like, hero of my own world. And I don't think, like, a lot of society says that's really bad, and I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it's very empowering to be able to solve your own issues. And certainly, like, I've found a lot of confidence and I've found a lot of growth in myself through solving my own issues. And certainly if I'd just gone to somebody else and said, like, oh, here's my problem, what's the answer? And they say, well, do this. And it's like, it's sort of like, it makes me feel a little disenfranchised and a little not myself, because I didn't get to solve my own problems, and whether that's healthy or not, I'm not sure. Like, I'm not making a professional comment here, but definitely from my experience, like, solving my own problems has been really empowering to me, and it's made me happier and more confident and stronger as a person, mentally and physically. So I guess what I'm saying is, by facing that darkness, by facing that journey ahead of you yourself, with some information, with some knowledge from other people and some advice, and obviously you have friends around you to help you and talk through your situations and things like that. I'm not saying completely go it alone and just isolate yourself, but it is important to remember that you're the one in the ring facing the demons that are in your mind. Like, nobody else can get in there and fight them for you, but you wouldn't want anyone else to be in there. There's a fucking siren in the background. You wouldn't want anybody else to be in your ring fighting your battles for you, because then you just feel like a piece of shit that's like, well, I can't even fight my own demons. Like, at least that's the way I feel. Again, I'm just speaking from my own experience here, but Dave's put a comment there, the mind got you here and can get you out, and I think that's important, to realize, like, you're in this situation, it's your mind, therefore just the laws of nature say that if you've got yourself here, you've also got the solution to get out. It's a simple fact. I mean, as I said, it's not an easy thing to find. I'm not saying you just find the solution overnight, but certainly, like, you do have it in there. So, like, really, really appreciate that comment, Dave. And Marcus has just put in a thing about comparing himself. So that's actually a really good comment, Marcus. Thank you so much for sharing that. Like, he's saying here, he's worked hard on not comparing himself to others. Many years trying to achieve, perfection, little quotes, in many ways, when he's more happy now with where he's at, because he's not comparing himself to other people. And that's also a really important thing to remember. Like, you're in your ring fighting your demons, Other people are in their ring fighting their own shit, or maybe they've, don't have shit to fight. I don't know, but that's unimportant. The only thing that matters is that you're in your ring, and you're getting back in there every fucking day. Every time you wake up, you're like, I'm gonna get back in this fucking ring, and I'm gonna get beaten the fuck out of, because I don't have any strength to beat these demons, but it's not gonna stop me from getting back in the fucking ring, because it's my ring, it's my world, it's my life, and I'm the only one that can get in that ring and take that beating, And what's gonna happen is, over time, if you continue to do that, you continue to get back in the ring every single day, continue to stand up to that motherfucker that keeps knocking you back down, and you say, you can knock me down 1,000,000 times, I'm gonna get up 1,000,001 times. As long as you get up one more time, then you get knocked down. Eventually, that demon's just either going to tire himself out, or B, you're going to become stronger. You're going to start to believe that you can actually face this thing. It's really important to also equip yourself with some knowledge and some tools. Get stronger. Whether that's physically or mentally. I think one thing that I found really important in my journey is reading books, and I don't mean fantasy novels, but reading books about psychology, about mental health, about fucking just anything, success, business, it doesn't matter, economics, whatever. Just read some books. Books have so much information in them that, the internet's great. Obviously, there's a lot of shit on the internet as well, but it's hard to filter the good from the bad on the internet. Whereas I find a lot of books, there's a publisher that's filtering the information. Time has filtered the information. The books that are still around today are the ones that have the good wisdom in them. The ones that were shit, just got filtered out of society over time. It's one of those things. Reading has just really helped me in so many ways to understand myself, to understand some of my battles, and given me some knowledge and tools to help fight the demons. And as I said, it's an ongoing process. You're never gonna completely obliterate all of your issues and just be all good all of a sudden. But what you can do is become stronger, and every time the issues turn up, you're strong enough to knock them back down and take control of your ring, take control of your little world. It's one of the things, it's being World Mental Health Day. It was really tempting to just sort of put up a motivational quote, or a little picture that sort of says, we're all about mental health. But I think the best way to really have this discussion was in a live stream today. So I really appreciate you guys joining me. I really appreciate the comments. I'm not necessarily wrapping it up. If you guys have more things to add, please do in the comments. But yeah, as I said, so reading's been really important for me. Definitely can't encourage that enough in people. There's so much information out there in books. Please go and fucking find some and apply it to your life. Again, take everything with a grain of salt. Take the advice from your friends with a grain of salt. Take the advice from your family with a grain of salt. You've got your own answers inside your own brain, because you know the extent of your own battles. You know what your demon is capable of. You know what their strengths are, which might be different to everyone else's demons. So at the end of the day, you've got to find your own answers. But like I said before, that's incredibly empowering also. I'm going to leave you guys with a little quote that's up behind me on that side. I don't want to say left or right because I don't know which way you guys are facing, but this is something that I come back to a lot. That's why it's in the prime position up there on my wall. But, I don't know if you can see that. It might be backwards, I'm not sure. But it says, don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. And then go and make it so. So I'm going to leave you guys with that one today on World Mental Health Day. Don't wish your mental health problems away. Don't wish that the problems were easier. Just try and get a little better and a little stronger, and just keep getting back in that fucking ring and saying to that motherfucker, knock me down one more time. Come on, one more time, knock me down, I'm still going to get up. And with that, thank you guys for joining me. Take some time, World Mental Health Day, for yourself. Take a little journey into that darkness. You don't have to go all the way in. You don't have to go, balls deep in the darkness. But just put a little toe in there. Just put a little foot in there. Take one step in there. Just suss it out. You might get scared, run away. That's cool. Do it again tomorrow. But just please, look after your mental health, people. I can't stress that enough. It is so important. And as I said, with that, have a good day, guys. And keep on sending it.